Okay, so here we go. This is Lab 1. First, we're going to create an Excel workbook by typing information into specific cells. So look on page 5 of Lab 1, or the page at the end of Lab 1. And it starts off, if you look up over here, you'll see A, B, C along the columns, and 1, 2, 3 along the rows. Click on the one that goes with A1. And in there, we're supposed to put in snack. And hit enter, the enter key, and that'll drop you down to the next one. Type in potato chips. So just enter your data as it shows. Leave 2 spaces, your name, and then in column B, and type in pounds. And the rest of the data, just type it in and hit enter to go to the next square. Okay. Now we want to make them bold, right? These 3 up here. So if we highlight them, just left click on the first one and drag over, holding your mouse down. So you highlight those, and then if you go up to this little B right here, you're right there, hit the B, it'll make it bold. And what else is bold? That's kind of it. Okay, and then also this should be this column here, A, should be wider. So if you go up between A and B, and you notice, like, here you got the arrow down, here you got the arrow down, but in between you've got this little line with the 2 arrows. If you left click and hold down your left mouse click button, you can drag that wider and make that wider. So there we go. That's good. Then also, this one looks like it should be a little bit wider as well. And then here, notice how these are supposed to be centered. If you click on this, just left click on B up here, not down here. If you left click down there, it's just going to highlight that one cell. But if you left click up here, it'll highlight the whole column. And you can go over here. This is left align, middle align, and right align. It actually might even tell you. See how it says center text? Just go ahead and click on that and it'll center the text. Okay, good. Now we have good data. Let's move on. Okay, it says and then we should save the workbook. This is a workbook we have here, and we're going to save it to a flash drive or temporary file on the disk. So I'm going to save it. Go to File and hit Save As. I always do Save As so I don't overwrite anything that came before it. And then you can put it into wherever you want. Documents, that's fine. Book 1, we'll call it, instead of calling it Book 1, let's call it Lab space 1. And maybe I'll put M40 for Math 40 space Lab 1. Great. And then hit Save. Now it's saved. We're all set. Okay. And periodically, as you type stuff in and make nice, neat changes, you should go ahead and hit this little save button up here. You'll notice it even says save once you kind of look at it, and that just saves it so that whatever you've done since your last save, you don't lose all that. It's just a good idea, especially after you've done something kind of long or complicated, just to hit the save so you don't lose it in case something happens. Okay, next we are going to click on cell B4. So here's column B, and go down to, B7, go down to 7, row 7, and just left click on that to get that cell highlighted. You can see the dark box around it and the little white cross inside. Now find the sum key up here somewhere. If you look over here, you'll see it. It says auto sum. If you click on that, it'll take a guess at what you want to click on, or what you want to sum. So it's going to guess you want to sum this space here, which is correct. That's what you want to sum. So then you just hit enter, and it'll sum that. And just confirm that, yeah, if you add those up, they add up to 30, which is great. Next, click on it again, same cell. And in the Home tab, there's one of two keys in the number group to adjust the decimals to be to show one decimal place. So if you look up here, over here, kind of in the middle, it shows like decimal places, making them more or less. And if I make them, it decreases the decimals. So this, I don't think it'll do anything if we do that, because it has none. But if we can hit that once, it'll make it 1 decimal. Hit it twice, it'll make it 2 decimals, 3 decimals. If you go back over here, it'll decrease it. So it goes from 3 to 2 to 1, which is what we want. So stop there. And then in cell C2, here's C, there's row 2. Click on that, just left click on that. Hit enter. So they'll just, enter. Don't do that. Hit the equal key. Because that signifies to the program that you're entering a formula. So it knows you're going to do something like an addition or subtraction or multiplication, some sort of formula. And then move your mouse and click on cell B2. That's this one here, B2. And just left click on that. Now you see how B2 all of a sudden shows up in blue over here? That's what you want, that's great. And then hit the divide symbol. It's that kind of left slash on your keyboard. Just hit that. So it's going to take that B2 and it's going to divide it by something. And then type in 30. So now divide that cell by 30. Hit the enter key. If you don't hit the enter key, it's going to keep typing stuff in there. So you got to hit the enter key. And then it'll pop the number in there. And then click on C2 again, and put your mouse on. See this little kind of the lower right corner, that little square there. If I put my mouse directly on that corner, see that cross turns into dark black as opposed to kind of being a white cross. If I put it right on there, it's a black cross, skinny black cross. And then if I left click and hold down my left click mouse, I can drag that cell down and it'll copy what's in that first cell to the second cells. If we kind of look over, you'll see the first one is B2 divided by 30. If we go on to the next one, you can see up here it shows you what the formula is. So up here, this one is B2 divided by 30. This one here is B3 divided by 30. This one is B4 divided by 30, B5 divided by 30, and B6 divided by 30. The program's smart enough to know when you drag it down like that to just increase the row accordingly. And then let's go ahead and highlight all these. So left click on one of them and highlight all of them. And click on the sum. It says to click on the sum icon. So click on this one. And it's going to stick it. Do you see what it just did? When I did that, it just stuck the sum of them into the very next cell down here and add them up to 1. So apparently they all up to 1. That's great. Yep. And then see how they're already highlighted for me, which is terrific. If not, I would just left click and highlight all of them. And then go over here to the percent symbol here and click on that. Now make them all percents instead. So instead of 0.37, it's 37%, 27%, 14%, etc. And instead of 1, it's 100%, because as we know, 1 is equal to 100%. And then go ahead and hit this decrease, increase to make it with 1 decimal place. So perfect. Now we have 1 decimal place. We're all good there. And just so you realize that it only shows how many decimal places are actually shown. The whole number is stored in there. So 0.373, I think it was 373, whatever it was before. Yep, 333. That's still in there. it just doesn't show. It just kind of truncates it, rounds it to the nearest tenth, and just shows that part. But the whole amount of data is still in there. Okay, so that's good. And then save it. Great. Save it. Perfect. All right, now we need to add the following information operation. So copy the first sheet to the second sheet. All right, so if you look at the next page, page 3 on Lab 1, it talks about copying from one sheet to another. So this, what you do is you find this little key here, which is right between corner in the upper left corner. Oop, and if you click on it, it highlights the whole sheet. Left click on that, and then right click there, and it'll give you an option to copy it. So copy it, and then go down here to sheet 2, and go up here again to that little same little spot. Click on that, and hit right click, and paste it, and we're good. Let's make sure it pasted everything. Yeah, pasted everything exactly the same. So that's escape. Anytime you get into an issue and you hit something you shouldn't hit, just hit escape, and I'll get you out of what you did. If you accidentally hit something wrong, like you just did that, and entered it by mistake, hit undo up here. This undo button, that'll be your best friend. Just undo that, and it'll put everything back to where it was. So remember that. Escape if you're in the middle of doing something bad, or undo if you've already done something bad. Really good things to know. All right, next we are going to put in into cell D1. D1, we're going to type in percent using cell reference. And if we just type it in like that, percent using cell reference, and we should probably bold that since it's a title. And then in column D2, enter the formula. And remember, it's a formula. You have to start with equals. If you don't start with equals, you're going to get nowhere. It's just going to type in letters like, you know, and it won't make any sense. So equals. And then you can click on B2, and then divided by B7. Now, here's the thing. We want to change that so it has a $sign in front of the B and after the 7. Oops. So we have to actually go up here, see where this formula spot is above in the white area. If you click on that, we can actually enter stuff in. So I'm going to just add in a $sign there. Oh, don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going to hit that. There we go. At the end, I guess because I highlighted it, overwrote it. And then enter a $sign in there. Make sure it looks just like it should. And then hit enter. And it doesn't like that. Oh, I know why. I'm not supposed to put that $sign there. I'm supposed to put it over here. There. Now it's happy. Okay, good. Now do the same thing to copy this to the rest of these guys down here, which means click on it, get to a spot where you have that dark cross there, and then left click, hold down your left click and drag it down to here. All good. And again, change to percent. So you go over to the percent. Now make sure there's all highlighted. All of them are highlighted. Hit percent and add 1 decimal place. So this one right here. Good. And save it. Let's just save it. Make sure we don't screw anything up here. Always good to save. Change the number of pounds for one of the snacks. So change the pounds for one of the snacks. So let's pick a snack. This one, I'm going to make it 9.3. Boom. Okay, so now this this has changed a few things. So that was interesting. See how this changed totally, and then this one changed as well. The other ones stay the same, like that one and that one and that one and that one stay the same, but this one changed, and this one changed. And I think all of these changed here as well. So that's interesting. Now, I think I should do a sum here. Surprised it doesn't ask us to sum that. Oh yeah, it did say add the total in D7. All right, so go ahead and go to D7 and click on this auto sum here, and you want that. So remember it's highlighting what you want it to highlight, and you just hit the enter key and it'll pop it in there. So you'll notice now all of a sudden, if you go back to sheet 1, these two, oops, well, this one says 100%, this one has changed to 103.7%, so that's interesting. I'll have to look at that in a little bit. And now let's copy this sheet to sheet 3. So first I'm going to save it, because it's always good to save often. And I'm going to left click up here, and I'm going to right click, hit copy, go down to sheet 3, click on that, right click, and paste. Good. And then I think sheet 2, we want to change this. So let's go sheet 2, and we're just going to right click on the sheet and rename it to Laboratory 1, number 1, modified data. Laboratory 1, number 1. And when you're done typing it, just hit enter and it'll take that. Then let's go over to sheet 3 and see what you want to do here. Create a formula page. Create a formula page. So you can either hit control and this little tilde sign, which mine is right below the escape key. Tilde sign looks like this. That's what tilde sign looks like. So look for that in your computer. Hit control and that key, and look what happens when we do that. Absolutely nothing. Probably because mine is a shift for the tilde. So maybe if I do control shift tilde, actually also still does nothing. Great. Well, here's what you can do instead. Go to here where it says formulas. Up here, click on formulas, and then there are no formulas. Yes, there are. There are formulas. And then over here where it says show formulas, maybe you have to click on one of those. Maybe you have to be on one of these. Let's see what happens if I hit control tilde now. Okay, so here's the thing. You can't just be in the middle of nowhere hitting control tilde. If you're sitting off here where you're not on any formula and you hit control tilde, it still works. It just hates me. Alright, fine. Also at formulas, you could go to formulas and you can hit this show formulas over here, and that will make the formulas show or not show. And if you notice, it makes them all wider as well, which may or may not be good, but you know, whatever. Let's see. And then save the workbook. Now, you have some questions to ask yourself. And you should be looking at these. So the first thing is, looking at the sheet containing the modified data, compare the formulas for columns C and D. So look at these formulas and look at these formulas, and how are they different? And you might want to pop over the data and see what the data is over here, and just kind of see how they end up being, these sums end up being different. And these numbers are all different, whereas when you look at the modified data, only that one changed. We went from 27.3 to 31.0 when you changed this. But all of a sudden, all these changed over here when that cell changed. And it's interesting. So you should try to figure out why, looking at these formulas, what's going on and what those numbers are. Maybe take out a calculator and try to figure out exactly what's happening. Or look at what B7 is and see what's written over here and what's written, what's written in here instead, and try to figure out, how this is different and how that's altering things. So that's A. The second thing is you should see, so the second thing you should look at is see how these ones change from line to line, and look at how these ones change from line to line. You should also think about why these percentages don't agree, why they're different. So that's B. In B, talk about, so A, compare these formulas and how they change from line to line, and how these ones change from line to line, especially these ones. How does this change from here to here, and from there to there, and there to there? And then B is why are these two totals not the same? In other words, why is this one 103.7% and why is this one 100%? And why are they different? C is what does this $sign do to these? What happens when you put this $sign in versus not putting that $sign in? And just so you, as a hint, it really only matters about when you copy a cell and drag it down like we dragged it down, or copy a cell from one place to another, either way. Without the copy and pasting, that wouldn't be an issue. So that's C. And then the third thing is, why do we use multiple sheets? Why was it more useful or cleaner to use multiple sheets? So that is kind of all of that. And then we need to print it. So if we go to print, file, print, and they talk about some setups. So if you look at page 4, number 4, first of all, it says always well, first of all, it says always add in some other stuff first, but you should always hit print preview. Where's print preview? Oh, it just automatically does it in mine. I don't know. So mine's automatically there, and it does want you to print display and column headings. So we'll have to take a look at that in a second on all sheets. The place where that is, so this doesn't have them, right? You can't see the column headings, which are helpful, where it says A, B, C, D, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's go back to home, and let's go ahead and put that stuff in. So we're going to click on any of the sheets, and if we right-click on the sheet, since I guess we're on sheet 3, we'll right-click on that one. Just go down there and hit right-click and do select all sheets, so it picks all the sheets. And then click on the page layout tab. So up here it says page layout, click on that. And then we're going to go to grid lines, and let's print them, view them, not view them. If we don't view them, then all of a sudden you can't see them, and it's this big blank space, you have no idea where you are. So we definitely want to view them or in it, but we also want to view it while we're printing them. And the headings, if we took those away, then we wouldn't see those either, and that's kind of confusing. So we want to see those, we also want to print those as well, so that we can see when we're grading your work where your headings are and what's going on with that. And then sheet options. Let's look at sheet options. Where are sheet options? Sheet options. Click on here. They'll give us the rest, all the sheet options. And if we go to header footer, oh, you can also look at, looks like you can also hit them here. Grid lines. Header footer. In the header, actually don't worry about the header. Hit custom footer, and left section, look in the panels for date. Looks like this one, 8/7, insert date. So left section, just click on that, and the center section, type in your name, if you can type. And then the right section, click on the right section, and in there, put click on the button for file name. Is that this one? No. Format text, page number, number of pages, time, file path, we're getting closer, file name, there we go, click on that, and we are good for that, and then hit OK, and OK there. Now we need to ungroup our page tabs because we've just grouped them. So here, go down to sheet 3, right click and hit ungroup sheets. So now we're kind of all back to normal. Now if we hit file print, look at our preview, it should all look really good, except for it's only printing page 1 of 1. Why is it not printing entire workbook? Yeah, so pick entire workbook, because why is it only, and you look down here, the reason I realized it because it said 1 of 1 before. If I had, it said print active sheets, it means the only sheet you're on. So it's just one page, that's not right. So click on this and print the entire workbook, and then it should show you pages 1 to 3. So this is the first page, the original page. If you notice this out of the way, we have our date and our name and our lab name, or file name, sorry, and all of our data with grid lines. If we go over here, page 2, then we have our data again, as it should be, and the last one with the formulas. So we are all good. So go ahead and print that. I won't print that because I don't need to print it, but you should print it. And then don't forget to save. It's always good to save. And that is it.